Hi there, my name's Peter Ward and I'm the Chief Technical Architect for WARDY IT Solutions. WARDY IT Solutions is Australia's leading SQL Server consultants, trainers and business intelligence specialists. What I want to do today is I want to show how the inbuilt features inside of SQL Server can be utilised inside of the education sector in order to build a self-service business intelligence solution. Now, when we think about business intelligence is simply the ability to go and use an application to derive data from our existing systems in order to affect a more positive outcome. Now, what I want to show here is how we can affect a more positive outcome for an individual student. Because what I want to do is I want to go and map out our entire student population and identify whether their performance across a number of different subjects is affected by the location that they live in. In other words, does this postcode or suburb have an influencing factor across our student population? So let's get started with the demonstration. What I'm doing here is I'm opening up what's called SQL Server Reporting Services. And what you'll see sitting in front of you at the moment is what's called Report Manager. Now, Report Manager is a portal that allows us to deploy our reporting assets both internal to the organisation as well as external to other stakeholders and also caregivers as well. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go and launch Report Builder. Now, Report Builder is a click once deployed application. What it does is it allows us to easily go and utilise the information that's stored across all of the different data stores across our campus. Now, often when I talk about Report Builder, I call it a Fisher-Price application. Now, the reason I call it a Fisher-Price application is what you'll see here today is that it's got very large buttons and colours. It's really designed for an end user to make it very easy for them to create very, very rich data visualizations and reports. Now, because we want to look at spatial and location information, what we're going to do here is we're going to actually select the map wizard. The map wizard is going to allow us to go and create a report that has map information. So what you'll see here is that I can go and get information from a number of different sources. In this particular scenario, what I'm going to do is use a SQL Server spatial query. Now, that's going to allow me to go and pull information directly out of my database. So I'm going to add a new data set here. Click Next. Now, here's my data source connection. Now, this is my SQL Server database that contains the spatial and location information about my students. Now, I'm going to click on Next. And what you'll see here is listed all of the tables inside of that data source that I have permissions to go and view. In this particular scenario, there's only one table that I have access to there. So when I go and click that table, you'll see that it selects all of those columns here for me. Now, I can choose which columns I want, but if I'm comfortable writing a SQL statement, I can also edit that directly and write the SQL statement. But what I want to demonstrate here is the fact that I don't need to even write a single line of code in order to go and create this report. So let's click on Next. Now, what you'll see here is a collection of dots. Now, those collection of dots is the location of all of the students that we have that are attending our particular school. Now, what I also want to be able to do in order to add some visualization to this report is I want to be able to add this map layer in. Now, in order to add the map layer, I simply click on the Add Bing Maps layer. So when I select the Add Bing's map layer, what it does is it calls out to Virtual Earth and gets the spatial information for me. So it creates the map layer. I can then go and click on Next, because what I want to do with this map is I want to add some analytics. Now, you'll see that I've got a number of different map visualizations here. I've got my basic marker map, which really just behaves like a push pin. But what I want to do is I want to select the analytical marker map. Now, what you'll see here is I can then go and choose where the analytical information is coming from. In this case, my existing data set has analytical information in it. So what you'll see here is I can then go and choose a number of different themes here. In this case, I'm just going to leave it the default of ocean. But what I want to do here is I want to add a data field in here. Now, what you'll see here is that I've got the ability to go and add the sum of my average scores. Maybe it's a different count information. But in this case, I'm just going to select that average, and I can add a color rule here. Now, the color rule that I want to add here is I want to add a traffic light scenario. So what I'm wanting to do is actually green is good. orange some corrective action, and hey red, we've actually got a real problem here. So we've actually got performances that are below par. So we really want to then be able to focus our attention on those particular students. And what we're trying to identify with this is whether there's actually a cluster of red. So does the suburb actually affect particular poor performance because of other influencing factors around that particular suburb? So let's go and click on finish. Now what you'll see here is I've gone and very easily gone and created a map. Now the last thing that I need to do is I need to go and deploy that map. But before we do, let's just simply add a title. And now let's save that. So you'll see that I select the orb, save as, and I'll publish that now to Report Manager. So I'll call it map. And what you'll see now is when I select back into Report Manager, I simply hit F5 and there's my report with all of my map information. So what we've shown in today's demonstration is how easy it is for us to go and light up all of the information that's being stored inside of our learning management systems.